Good evening. This is All India Radio and I'm Meenakshi San, and with me is Renuka Aris with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India will give a befitting reply to anyone who tries to impinge upon its sovereignty and integrity. Says India always tries to reach out to neighbours to arrive at a consensus. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar lodges strong protest to his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on the violent face-off in Galwan Valley. Army Chief General M.M. Naravane says defence forces stand strong towards protecting sovereignty and integrity of the country. Prime Minister emphasises need to weed out stigma attached to COVID-19 infection. Railways deploys 960 COVID care coaches in 5 states. Wheat procurement from farmers touches an all-time record of 382 lakh tonnes. The martyrdom of Indian soldiers who died fighting in the violent clash in the Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh will not go in vain. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this in his remarks before the second day of the virtual meeting with the state and union territories' chief ministers to chalk out the further roadmap to embolden the nation's fight against the global pandemic.
भारत माता के वीर सपूतों ने गलवान वैली में हमारी मातृभूमि की रक्षा करते हुए सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया है। मैं देश की सेवा में उनके इस महान बलिदान के लिए उन्हें नमन करता हूं। उन्हें कृतज्ञतापूर्वक श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। दुख की इस कठिन घड़ी में हमारे इन शहीदों के परिजनों के प्रति मैं अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं।
Prime Minister Modi said India will give a befitting reply to anyone who tries to impinge upon its sovereignty and integrity.
हमारे लिए भारत की अखंडता और संप्रभुता सर्वोच्च है और इसकी रक्षा करने से हमें कोई भी रोक नहीं सकता। इस बारे में किसी को भी जरा भी भ्रम या संदेह नहीं होना चाहिए। भारत शांति चाहता है, लेकिन भारत उकसाने पर हर हाल में यथोचित जवाब देने में सक्षम है।
The Prime Minister said India is a peace-loving nation which thrives on the principle of sacrifice. He asserted that India always strives to reach out to its neighbouring countries in order to arrive at a common consensus.
भारत सांस्कृतिक रूप से एक शांति प्रिय देश है। हमारा इतिहास शांति का रहा है। भारत का वैचारिक मंत्र ही रहा है लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। हमने हर युग में पूरे संसार में शांति की, पूरी मानवता के कल्याण की कामना की है। हमने हमेशा से ही अपने पड़ोसियों के साथ एक कोऑपरेटिव और फ्रेंडली तरीके से मिलकर काम किया है। हमेशा उनके विकास और कल्याण की कामना की है। जहां कहीं हमारे मतभेद भी रहे हैं, हमने हमेशा ही ये प्रयास किया है कि मतभेद विवाद न बने, डिफरेंसेस डिस्प्यूट्स में न बदले।
The Prime Minister and the participating chief ministers stood up and observed 2-minute silence, remembering the martyrs of Galwan Valley. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has conveyed to his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi India's protest in strongest terms on violent face-off in Galwan on the 15th of this month. The External Affairs Ministry said Dr. Jaishankar and the Chinese Foreign Minister had a phone conversation this afternoon on recent developments in Ladakh. Dr. Jaishankar recalled that at the meeting of senior military commanders held on the 6th of June, an agreement was reached on de-escalation and disengagement along the line of actual control. Ground commanders were meeting regularly to implement this consensus throughout the last week. While there was some progress, the Chinese side sought to erect a structure in Galwan Valley on the Indian side of the LAC. While this became a source of dispute, the Chinese side took premeditated and planned action that was directly responsible for the resulting violence and casualties. It reflected an intent to change the facts on ground in violation of all agreements to not change the status quo. Dr. Jaishankar stressed that this unprecedented development will have a serious impact on the bilateral relationship. He said the need of the hour was for the Chinese side to reassess its actions and take corrective steps. The two sides should scrupulously and sincerely implement the understanding that was reached by the senior commanders on the 6th of June. The minister said troops of both sides should also abide by the bilateral agreements and protocols. They should strictly respect and observe the line of actual control and should not take any unilateral action to alter it. The Chinese foreign minister, on his part, conveyed the Chinese position on recent developments. They agreed that the overall situation would be handled in a responsible manner and both sides would implement the disengagement understanding of the 6th of June sincerely. Neither side would take any action to escalate matters and instead ensure peace and tranquility as per bilateral agreements and protocols.
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu paid homage to the soldiers of the Indian Army who were martyred in Ladakh. In a tweet, he said the country will always be indebted for their supreme sacrifice. He expressed condolences to the members of the bereaved families. Home Minister Amit Shah has expressed pain at losing brave soldiers while protecting motherland at Ladakh's Galwan. In a series of tweets, Home Minister said, "Nation salutes the immortal heroes who sacrificed their lives to keep Indian territory safe and secure." He said, "Their bravery reflects India's commitment towards her land." The Home Minister said India will always remain indebted for their supreme sacrifice. He said the entire nation and Prime Minister Narendra Modi government stand firmly with their families in this hour of grief. He hoped for the speedy recovery of those injured.
Army Chief General M.M. Naravane today said all ranks of the Indian Army salute the supreme sacrifice of valiant soldiers at Galwan. General Naravane said their sacrifices will not go in vain. Offering deepest condolences to the family, the Army Chief said the Defence Forces stand strong towards protecting the sovereignty and integrity of the country. According to agency reports, the Chinese side suffered over 40 casualties, including the dead and seriously injured in the face-off in the Galwan Valley on Monday night. United States intelligence reports also suggest that the Chinese army suffered heavy casualties during the violent clash with the Indian military in eastern Ladakh's Galwan Valley. The report further added that this figure could be a combination of total number of soldiers killed and seriously wounded on the Chinese side.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed the Ladakh border situation in a meeting held at South Block in New Delhi today. The meeting was attended by Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, Chief of Army Staff General M.M. Naravane, Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Karambir Singh and Chief of Air Staff Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhaduria. Speaking to AIR News, defence analyst Commodore C. Uday Bhaskar explained the flashpoints for recent Chinese action along the LAC in eastern Ladakh.
As far as this region is concerned, eastern Ladakh and particularly the Pangong Lake, this has not been notionally also claimed by China for the last 5.5 decades, meaning that from 1963 till where we are now, 2020, China has never claimed, and this was a kind of de facto status quo, that along the line of actual control, both sides have claim lines and they patrol according to their understanding of the claim lines. So the reality is that for 50 odd years, China did not upset the status quo.
Government of Myanmar has set up a tribunal to probe the construction of a mega-city project being undertaken by Chinese support in the Karen state, about 15 kilometers north of Mayawadi. Irrawaddy reports stating this in Naypyidaw yesterday. The Deputy Minister of Union Government Office, Wu Tin Min, said that he has been selected to chair the committee to investigate the Shui Cocoa City project. The project is being implemented by the Yatai International Holdings Group of China along with the BGF, which is reportedly supported by the Myanmar military. The project was started in 2017 at a small scale involving $22.5 million for construction of 59 villas at Shui Cocoa. However, later it was reported that construction was being carried out at a much larger scale than was approved to construct a small international city. India will send a 75-member tri-service contingent to participate in the military parade in Moscow on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the victory in the Second World War. The parade will honor the heroism and sacrifices paid by the Russian and other friendly people. Defense Minister of Russia had invited an Indian contingent to take part in the Victory Day parade scheduled to be held on the 24th of this month. The participation will be a mark of tribute and solidarity with the people of Russia at a time when they remember the heroes of the Great Patriotic War. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had written to Russian President Vladimir Putin a congratulatory message on the occasion of the Victory Day on the 9th of May.
The United Nations Security Council, UNSC, will elect 5 new non-permanent members to the Council today. France took over the presidency of the powerful 15-member Security Council for the month of June. The United Nations General Assembly last month adopted a decision to hold the Security Council elections under new voting arrangements, taking into account restrictions in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic. India is the sole candidate for a non-permanent seat from the Asia-Pacific category for the 2021-22 term. Its victory is given since it is the sole candidate vying for the lone seat from the grouping. New Delhi's candidature was unanimously endorsed by the 55-member Asia-Pacific grouping, including China and Pakistan, in June last year. Beginning in January 2021, the new members will serve a 2-year term on the UNSC. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India will give a befitting reply to anyone who tries to impinge upon its sovereignty and integrity. Says India always tries to reach out to neighbours to arrive at a consensus. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar lodged a strong protest to his Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi, on the violent face-off in Galwan Valley. Army Chief General M.M. Naravane says Defence forces stand strong towards protecting sovereignty and integrity of the country. Prime Minister emphasizes need to weed out stigma attached to COVID-19 infection. Railways deployed 960 COVID care coaches in 5 states. Wheat procurement from farmers touches an all-time record of 382 lakh tons. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने साथ अपनों का ध्यान रखो, बड़े बुजुर्गों का तुम ध्यान रखो, तो बात करो, कुछ मदद करो, कोरोना के चलते याद रखो, घर से निकलो तो मास्क पहनना, मास्क के पीछे मुस्कुराना, सुरक्षित दादा दादी नाना नानी अभियान, अपने साथ अपनों का ध्यान.
The country now needs to plan about the second phase of nationwide unlock, debunking all lockdown-related rumours. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this in his remarks during the second day of the virtual meeting with the state and union territories' chief ministers to chalk out a further roadmap in the nation's fight against coronavirus. He said the nation needs to think about phase 2 of unlock and how to minimise all possibilities of harm to the people. He emphasized on the need to weed out the stigma attached with the infection. Emphasizing the importance of testing and tracing, he urged states to work towards development of more testing centres. Prime Minister Modi also stressed on the need to effectively use Arogya Setu app to widen the scale of contact tracing in the country. The Prime Minister highlighted the increase in domestic manufacturing capabilities of PPEs, masks, availability of diagnostic kits in adequate quantity, supply of ventilators made in India using PM CARES Fund, availability of testing labs, lakhs of COVID special beds, thousands of isolation and quarantine centres, and adequate human resource through training. He stressed on the need to give constant emphasis on health infrastructure, information systems, emotional support and public participation. The Prime Minister highlighted that the recovery rate in the country has been considerably high due to the early preparedness ensured by the government. The Prime Minister credited the high discipline observed by the common citizens in the country for achieving better containment results.
समय पर उठाए गए सही कदमों के कारण हम सभी इस बड़े खतरे का मुकाबला कर पाए हैं. लॉकडाउन के दौरान देश की जनता ने जो अनुशासन दिखाया है उसने वायरस की एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ को रोका है। चाहे इलाज की व्यवस्था हो, हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, ट्रेन मैन पावर हो, हम कहीं ज्यादा संभली हुई स्थिति में है।
The Prime Minister talked about being vigilant against health-related problems that come with the monsoon. He also emphasized the emotional aspect of the battle against the virus, including battling fear of being afflicted and the stigma attached by making people aware of the high number of those who have defeated the virus and recovered. Today's interaction was the second part of the two-day interaction and witnessed participation of states and UTs, including Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Karnataka, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Telangana and Odisha. The chief ministers briefed him about the ground situation in the states and their preparedness to tackle the impact of the virus. The Prime Minister mentioned that the collective commitment to fight against the virus will lead us to victory.
The National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences Helpline has clocked near to the 3 lakh distress calls since last March during the lockdown induced by corona pandemic. The registrar of NIMHANS, who heads the Centre for Disaster Management in the institute, Dr. Shekhar, informed AIR News that calls related to depression, anxiety and even child marriage and abuse were handled by them. More from our correspondent.
Since the NIMHANS helpline started on March 27th, it has worked round the clock across the country to address mental health issues during the lockdown. 300 psychiatrists, psychologists and other mental health professionals aided by mobile sets are working round the clock to counsel those feeling depressed and anxious due to the pandemic. 21 centers of excellence working in the line of mental health across the country extended helping hand to NIMHANS. Dr. Shekhar, who manages the helpline in NIMHANS, has said that out of 3 lakh calls that they received, 45,000 were of serious kind and 400 among them had severe mental health problems needing immediate attention.
Even if they are not able to socialize, it is better to talk out their problems with others, even using a mobile phone, or to get into a helpline for psychosocial and mental health services, which is run nationally by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare.
Dr. Shekhar informed that they will now extend their counseling to the frontline corona warriors who have contracted the virus in their line of duty. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Speaking to AIR News, Dr. Neeraj Nischal, Assistant Professor at AIIMS, New Delhi, said that misinformation regarding COVID through multiple unverified sources has led anxiety-related issues in people, which manifests in the form of social stigma. He advised everyone to limit exposure to only verified information sources.
We live in a civilized society. We are supposed to take care of each other. So if we stigmatize a particular patient, then we are actually doing more harm because that person is not going to come forward. He or she may hide his disease. And in that way, he or she might be actually spreading that disease. So it's our responsibility not to stigmatize such patients, and we should come forward to help those patients.
Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra, consultant at Mental Health Division in Medanta Hospital, emphasized that people should indulge in positive addictions.
Positive addictions would include the creative arts, such as drawing, writing, painting. All of these qualify as positive addictions. Music is positive addictions. People who are interested in dancing, that's a positive addiction. Playing a game with family members has the beneficial effect of both the social interaction as well as the fun of the game. Some people like to do gardening. Some people like to do cooking. All of these qualify as positive addictions and have a significant benefit in reducing the stress. Then social connection is very important.
The Railways has deployed 960 COVID care coaches in 5 states. These states are Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Madhya Pradesh. Railway Ministry said out of total 960 COVID care coaches, 503 COVID care coaches have been deployed in Delhi, 372 in Uttar Pradesh, 60 in Telangana, 20 in Andhra Pradesh and 5 in Madhya Pradesh. The ministry said these state governments have sent the requisition to Railways and Railways have allocated these coaches to the state and union territories. The ministry said, sustaining the fight against COVID-19, Railways is making an all-out effort to supplement the healthcare efforts of the state governments. Railways has geared up to provide its 5,231 COVID care coaches to the states. Zonal railways have converted these coaches as COVID care centres to be used for very mild and mild cases. The railways will deploy 2 liaison officers for each location of coaches to assist state government officials. These coaches can be used in areas where state has exhausted the facilities and needs to augment capacities for isolation of both suspect and confirmed COVID cases. The Union Government today said that the recovery rate has reached to 52.79% in the country and a total of 1,86,935 people affected with coronavirus have cured so far. During the last 24 hours, 6,922 people recovered from the virus. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 1,55,227. Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that a total of 10,974 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 3,54,065. India registered the highest death toll today since the outbreak of coronavirus in the country. In one day, a total of 2,003 deaths were reported, taking the nationwide toll to 11,903. With this, the case fatality rate reached to 3.36%. The ICMR said that a total of 1,63,187 tests of coronavirus samples were conducted by the various laboratories in the country within 24 hours.
Health surveys have been started in Delhi's containment zones to improve contact mapping. Home Minister Amit Shah had earlier directed to double the COVID-19 testing in Delhi. On June 15th and 16th, over 16,600 test samples were collected. Till June 14th, daily collection varied between 4,000 to 4,500. Out of a total population of 230,000 in 242 containment zones, surveys of over 1,77,000 people was conducted between June 15th and 16th. Remaining will be covered by the June 20th. As directed by Home Minister Mr. Shah, tests will be done via new rapid antigen methodology approved by ICMR. Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain has tested positive for COVID-19. He was admitted to a hospital yesterday following high fever. The first report of Mr. Jain was negative. An official said the minister was tested again after 24 hours today, and this time he tested positive.
In Uttar Pradesh, the state government is making all efforts to ramp up the COVID tests so that maximum number of patients can be identified. After successfully reaching the benchmark of 15,000 tests per day a few days back, 16,159 samples were tested yesterday, which is the highest number of tests in the state till date. The state government aims to increase the number to 20,000 tests per day. A report.
In last 24 hours, state witnessed highest number of deaths due to corona and the highest number of corona positive cases also. A total of 591 positive cases were identified in state, out of which maximum 73 cases are from state capital Lucknow. State witnessed 30 casualties due to the deadly virus in last 24 hours and maximum 15 deaths were reported from Meerut. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has already directed the officials to double the number of COVID beds in the districts under the Meerut division. Currently, there are 5,477 active cases of corona infection in all 75 districts of the state, while 9,239 patients have been discharged after full recovery. The recovery rate in the state is around 61%, which is much higher than the national average. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray inaugurated a 1,000-bed COVID-19 hospital in Thane city via video conferencing this afternoon. He also inaugurated second phase of special ICU bed facility in BKC in Mumbai. During the virtual address, the Chief Minister said that the tracking and COVID-19 contact tracing has to be ramped up. He said that in the last 2 months, as many as 100 testing facilities were set up and lakhs of beds had been readied in Mumbai and Thane and some other parts of the state. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
In Maharashtra, along with the growing number of corona patients, the number of cantonment zones are also increasing. In Mumbai so far, there are 823 cantonment zones and 4,959 buildings in various parts have been sealed. Also, police force was being deployed However, in accordance with the principles of Indian Council of Medical Research, the city municipal commissioner has made some changes in the rules. So, now the part of the house or building where the corona patient is found is being sealed. Meanwhile, the Maharashtra government today demanded from the center COVID-19 treatment drugs Remdesivir and Tocilizumab in large quantity and at reasonable rate. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Tamil Nadu, the number of COVID-19 infections has crossed the 50,000 mark. With 2,174 people confirmed positive today, the total number of affected people has risen to 50,193. A report from our correspondent.
During the interaction with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has sought more central funds, grants and food grains allocation. He has pressed for the early disbursal of the second tranche of the National Health Mission funds. He has demanded a 9,000 crore rupees grant for fighting against the pandemic and to combat its after effects in the state economy. He has stressed that in power sector reforms, the state should be given greater latitude. He asked for a 1,000 crore rupees refinance package from the Small Industries Development Bank of India to the State Industrial Investment Corporation to help revive the micro, small and medium enterprises. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Kerala government is seeking the centre's intervention to conduct compulsory COVID testing for all passengers coming to the state from abroad by flights. More from our correspondent.
Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan said that COVID testing must be made mandatory for all expats who are intending to return, as the people who are positive and those who are negative travelling together in flights can lead to a rapid rise in COVID cases. Mr. Vijayan, while addressing the media in Thiruvananthapuram, said that Kerala welcomes all Pravasi Keralites wholeheartedly and the compulsory COVID test is only intended to contain the spread of the virus. He further seeks centre's intervention to arrange COVID testing facility for non-resident Indians in countries that lack the required facility and also to provide special travel arrangements for COVID positive people from abroad. Mayusha for AIR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The government today said that the procurement of wheat from farmers has touched an all-time record of 382 lakh tons. The earlier record was 381.48 lakh tons achieved during 2012-13. Consumers Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Ministry said that the commencement of procurement was delayed by a fortnight due to the first lockdown and was kicked off only from 15th of April in most of the wheat surplus states. The ministry said extraordinary efforts have been made by the state governments and all government procuring agency led by Food Corporation of India to ensure that wheat is procured from farmers without any delay and in a safe manner. Government has denied issuing a public notice related to postponement of National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, NEET, for undergraduate 2020. The National Testing Agency, NTA, informed all the candidates, parents and public that no such decision has been taken by concerned authorities. It advised the people to be aware of any fake message and rely only on the information available at the official website www.nta.ac.in and ntaneet.nic.in.
Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital, Delhi, will have a minimum temperature of 29 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 42 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a minimum of 26 and a maximum of 30. Kolkata will have a minimum of 27 while the maximum will be around 32. In the South, Chennai will have a minimum of 29 while the maximum will be around 41. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 26 in Jammu while the maximum will be around 41. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be 13 while the maximum will be around 31. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 14 and 35 with mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. It will have a minimum temperature of 22 while the maximum will be around 38. And now, before we end, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India will give a befitting reply to anyone who tries to impinge upon its sovereignty and integrity. Says India always tries to reach out to neighbours to arrive at a consensus. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar lodges strong protest to his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on the violent face-off in Galwan Valley. Army Chief General M.M. Naravane says Defence Forces stand strong towards protecting sovereignty and integrity of the country. Prime Minister emphasizes need to weed out stigma attached to COVID-19 infection. Railways deploys 960 COVID care coaches in 5 states. Wheat procurement from farmers touches an all-time record of 382 lakh tons. And with that, we end the evening news.